And a chance to give people like a scene of amazement. Hey, Marie was planted in the pavement. Crumble like I never do. So now I'm looking dead at you. What are you gonna do? You listen to the knowledge of a scholar. You say how I breathe, tell them holla holla. I'm the E double. And I claim my name. Straight up, good bang. Peace all gang. Hey now, say now. Why do people gather? Ooh, breathe. The microphone is who lasts the longest and who's the strongest. And then the game is plain to see. You're listening to the sounds of breathe. Hey, hey. It ain't no future in your front. Hey now, say now. Get the disclaimer. This is not LinkedIn Keirsten. We just kicking it for a minute. Hey now. Let's rock out while we let the people gather. Hey, rap a ball. When I'm on the mic, I ain't playing not at all. Cause I clock 10 G's a week, booming at my peak. Always see E solo, but I do get geek. I can give you a job, a place to eat. Hardy with your homeboy at a B.O.B. Taking over. Barking like a dog named Rover. What up? So what they saying, Every? It ain't no future in your front end. Hey, 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 what's up? I'm the B, the R to the double E-D, and down with my homie G-A-S-N-O-E, and hey now, I don't do, because I would never lie to you in the city where pity runs low. If you ever swoop through my city, now you know, because we're strictly business and we also got to, and if you don't like it, I suggest you break wide. We just kicking it today. Stay a while, kick it with your girl. We gonna let Bree rock out. Oh, that's the way I am. See, Bree cannot be different. I love you, honey. And I will. You leave it up to me. I paint the White House black, and ain't no future in your frontin'. It ain't no future in your frontin'. Hey now, say now. Not for rolling. If I was a fiend, then my gold would be stolen. Put my name Breed on everything I own. And when I get my Jeep, I'm putting Breed on the chrome. Shine it up good. Kick it through my neighborhood. Motorola phone, fat ribs in the Kenwood. Who's still listening to this? Me? There ain't no future in your frontin'. It ain't no future in your frontin'. Hey. Hey now, say now. What's up? I ain't gonna be before y'all long. It's Keirsten. What's up? How y'all doing? I was supposed to come live last week. I didn't come because, you know, the Super Bowl was on. Like, Keirsten is new. You can't be out. You out here taking chances, but you can't be competing with the Super Bowl now. You know, get a little dip off your chip if you think that you can compete with the Super Bowl. But I'm so glad y'all came to see the girl. I'm not going to be before you long because I watched the other lives. The other lives was kind of long, but, you know, I was just going somewhere with it. So I'm just coming here to kick it. Took a couple chances. Consistency is key. So I got to be consistent on here for y'all to come in and kick it with the girl. But yes, indeed. What's up? Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, so listen. The last couple lives, right, I've been talking about self-mastery, right? How to master the self. Okay, well, especially when you're trying to get in business. I'm just trying to help everybody get to the psychological part of it. Because I understand you. I understand when your mind can get carried away. Oh, thank you. When your mind can get carried away, right? So, with self-mastery comes with like self-discovery, right? Who are you really? You know, who are you as a person? Who are you spiritually? Who does the creator say you are? All of those things. Those are all very important things because you have to know it. Only because people gonna test to see your fruits. You know, test to see what you're made of. Is it on you? Is it in you? You know, and you're gonna be tested, which is why you got to know these things about yourself. Know exactly who you are, because if you don't know who you are, now them people gonna tell you. They're gonna try to tell you who you are, you know. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to let them do that to us, because, you know, we form our own futures by the things that we go after, right? All right, so we talked about self-mastery. So I was talking about mastering my emotions, right? I'm an emotional person. Listen, let me tell y'all how the devil works. No sooner than I got off that live, I was tested that week. Y'all want to hear something? I failed miserably. Oh, baby, I failed. Now listen, I didn't do as bad as I thought, but, you know, got a call with the okie doke. Uh-oh. Okay, everybody in here, what's up? Okay, all right, we had a little issue. All right, so I got tested, y'all, and I reacted. I didn't respond. I wanted to respond, but I reacted instead. So I'm like, well, Keirsten, we got some work to do. So there's that. If at first you don't succeed, try again, because the test came, baby, and I failed it. 5 colors, baby. Listen, okay? But that's okay. It's a new day. So we was talking about emotional mastery and cognitive mastery. Now, cognitive mastery is your mind, right? Mastering your mind. So, you know, on my lives, because this is not LinkedIn Keirsten, you know, we do a little heaven, little hell, right? So, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Renewing your mind. Not, not regurgitating your thoughts, but renew your thoughts. How you think about yourself. You know, what are the things that you're thinking about? Scripture says, think on these things. Think on what is good, what is honest, what is true. What is playing in your mind. And Vogue said, come on now, free your mind and the rest will follow. So it's like all of these emphasis like on the mind, which means that the mind got to be important, right? Because that's where thoughts live, right? Whatsoever a man thinketh, so is he. So I'm like, okay, wait a minute now. Wait a minute, Keirsten. All right, if it's all these references about your mind, then we know that an idle mind is the devil's workshop, all the things, right? So, not only do you have to control your emotions, Keirsten, you have to control your mind. You have to control your thoughts. You have to even sometimes unlearn and relearn, right? So, I'm like, okay, well, what have I learned that I need to unlearn? A lot of things sometimes. You know, a lot of things that, you know, you were just brought up to believe a certain way, act a certain way, do a certain thing, you know, in order to be liked or palatable or whatever the case may be. Right? We have to cast down all those imaginations. Everything that you thought was, and renew your mind, which means change the way that you're thinking. I had to, because I was so focused on what could go wrong that I couldn't see the right. I couldn't see the right for trying to identify the wrong. Because if I figure if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So then it makes you focus on the challenges. But if you focus on the challenge, Scripture say, think on these things. Think on that which is good. Think on that which is just. Think on that which is honest. So he's telling you to think about all these good things. And then I'm using my brain power to think about what could go wrong. Well, just as easy as I could think about what could go wrong, Keirsten, how about let's transform your mind and think about what could go right? right? Instead of thinking about what could go wrong all the time in an effort to try to fix it, think about what could go right. You know, I know a lot of us don't start businesses because we live big lives in the sense that we got big responsibilities, a whole lot of things. And sometimes these things are bigger than us, or at least that's what they feel like, you know. My dream is kind of scary to me, if I'm gonna be honest with you, because it's big. It's bigger than where Keirsten is right now, right? But the thing about it is that when it's big, it kind of gives you something to aspire to, you know? If all of your thoughts were attainable, then it's really not like a stretch out there. You know what I mean? To transform. So to think bigger causes you to have to stretch bigger, right? Now, the thing about your mind is you will, it's much like your emotions. If you don't control it, it will can control you. And everything that goes through the mind is not always helpful, right? It's not always helpful to you, to your psyche, because for as many things as you can think of right, you can think of that could go wrong. And we don't want to focus on that. We want to focus on all of the things that could go right. If there's any hurdles in the way, see a solution as opposed to it being just an obstacle for you. You know, I got to get over my mind all the time. All the time I have to get over my mind because I'm always trying to think 10 steps ahead, 3 steps ahead, 5 steps ahead, just in order to be proactive as opposed to reactive, right? So as a business owner at the beginning of the year or the end of the last year, because you work on your goals for the year, right? What am I going to do this year? So I try to plan all of these things, right? And then a pivot will come. Now, I'm the type of person where I don't really like surprises for real. Like, if it's a surprise party, let me know so I can get my hair done. If, you know, you giving me a surprise something, let me know so I can get me something to wear, child. Because if Keirsten come in there as Keirsten, listen, I'm the friend. If you call me, or if I call you and you answer the phone, you have to immediately tell me that, hey, there's somebody else in here, because I'm just a free-spirited person. So I'll just answer the phone however, you know. So I'm saying that to say in a funny way that I like to know, you know. And the biggest part of being an entrepreneur is that you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Living life, period. Like, you don't know from one day to the next what could potentially happen. But there are some things that you can do that can prevent certain things from happening. Like, you go to the grocery store and you buy groceries so that everybody won't starve. You know what I'm saying? Like, you pay the light bill because you know if you don't pay the light bill, we got some problems over here on, okay. If you don't pay the light bill, you can hope all day. And that might help you a little while. But at some point, you got to send them folks some money so that they'll keep your lights on. You know? So it was like having to get over my mind. Now, I had told y'all about this cookie order that I had got for like 9,000 cookies, right? To be honest with y'all, I prayed against it. Because I was thinking about all of the things that could go wrong. Here's how my mind was working. My mind was like, okay, Keirsten, these people give you a deposit. Let's say they give you a deposit. You buy all the materials. But you got to have a team, like a team that's already built for 9,000 people. You tap 9,000 cookies. You can't be just figuring it out after you done took these people money. Wait a minute. Right? So, but I was determined anyway. I said, well, God, if you bring it all the way to me, then you must go make a way for me. Now, The deal ended up not going through. So I guess the Lord answered my prayers, which means you got to be careful. But it did show me, Keirsten, okay, if these type of opportunities are coming toward you, then you need to be getting yourself ready, right? You need to be getting yourself ready. You need to be getting your systems put in place. You need to be doing all of these things so that you can prepare for it, because you want to be proactive as opposed to being reactive. Because in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, what I'm going to do? 9,000 cookies. Lord, that's how many cookies a day? That's 600 and some odd cookies for 28 days for the next 687 cookies, I think it was, every day for the next 28 days on top of whatever else I had already committed to. Keirsten, you trying to give yourself a heart attack? No, I ain't trying to give myself a heart attack. I'm just trying to capitalize on the opportunity. But, you know, I immediately just worried instead of like being like, okay, all right, girl, you got this. You've been doing this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was real for me. So I'm like, okay, Keirsten, we can't be mentally working against ourselves, because whatsoever a man thinketh, so is he. So you got to change your thoughts, girl. You got to change how you thinking, you know? And that was a big thing. Still is a big thing for me. Just changing the way that my mind works in an effort to have like a complete thought. You know, it's like these extreme examples. That's why I'm using them, because they're extreme. Hey now, say now. That's like, all right, y'all, we gonna run up in this bank and we gonna get all of the money and everything's gonna be fine, right? But at some point, hey boo, but at some point, you do got to think about there are other factors, right? What could go wrong? Now, in some situations, it's healthy to think about that. If you planning on running up in a bank, you can't think about all the pros. You're going to have to think about the cons. And then when you think about the cons, you will see that the pros, that the cons far outweigh the pros, baby. So we need to figure something else out. But if you go in there thinking about all of the good stuff that'll happen and not consider the full scope of the thing, it can be self-deceptive, right? So I'm not saying bombard yourself with negative thoughts. I'm saying have a complete thought. Think about it in its entirety. Because what most people would do, 9,000 cookies, oh, they'll do the math first. That's go. Oh, man, that's going to be this. Baby, what? Listen, okay? Yes, I was at least presented with the opportunity, but that's the thing. It showed me where you got a little Achilles heel right here, Keirsten. You got a little bit of a weakness. Now, listen, I ain't going to let this one go through for you. But know that if they was able to find you, somebody else will. And when this next opportunity come, you got to be ready for it. Which means I have to mentally prepare myself for it and physically get myself together. Girl, you need a team. I know you think you a bad mama jamma because you've been a one-arm Willie, one in a million, no limit soldier. However, it came to me, I took it as an opportunity to learn. And that's another thing. When something happens, look for the lesson in it. 9 times out of 10, more often than not, it's always a lesson in it. I look for it. What am I supposed to learn? I could notice something. Like a bird. Watch him. What is he doing? Okay. That's interesting how he did that. And it blessed me. It blessed me in some type of way. You know, even in the Bible, it referenced ants. You know, it tell you to pay attention to how the ant lives. That he stores his You know, he works all summer to create storage for the wintertime. So if metaphors can be used in a good book, then you got metaphors around you all the time. And if you look for the lesson, it can bless you. So, besides be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, for my church folks out there, In Vogue said, free your mind and the rest will follow. Freeing your mind. Freeing your mind from shackles. What kind of shackles? Well, everybody has seen that picture. You know the picture of the donkey that's attached to the chair? Or even they give you the analogy of the flea that's in the jar, right? The flea is jumping. But he done hit his head so many times, he don't jump as high because he anticipates that he's going to hit his head. So because psychologically he has already defeated himself, somebody that came off and took the jar off, take the lid off the jar. But because he is afraid of hitting his head, he ain't going to even jump no more. It's going to affect how high he jumps just because he's already psychologically defeated. Now, I don't know if Harriet Tubman actually said this, but she was talking about freeing slaves. And she said she could have freed more if they only had known that they were slaves. So the mind is a powerful thing, which is why we need to control what we feed it and what we allow it to feed on. That's another thing that'll discourage you. You know what I'm saying? Somebody may try to do something, and because it didn't happen for them, it'll scare you. Tell you how that happened to me. We gonna go way back. So when I was 13 years old, my mama took me in labor and delivery, right? Form of birth control, right? She gonna take me to labor and delivery so I can get down on the business end and watch my little cousin Shayla be born. Hey. Now, what she wanted it to do, it did. Because I was like, oh, man. Like, I knew how babies got here. But to actually watch it was like, oh, no, I'm cool. But when Keirsten got time for Keirsten to have her own baby, I was scared to death. You hear me? I had already made up in my mind, oh, my God, it's going to be terrible. I'm listening to other people and they terrible, horrible birth stories and all of that. Fast forward to, when it's time, I had ended up having to have a cesarean. So for 9 months, I just tortured myself about how terrible it was going to be. Only for that to not end up being my reality. Now, that's not to say that somebody else's truth is not the truth, it's their truth. But that don't necessarily make it true for you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, a lot of times, people can scare us. I don't mean to project. I'm just keeping it a buck with y'all. That, yes, having a business is great. However, there's a lot of unknowns. And for a person like me, who feel like she need to know, it's scary. Like, oh, man, what's behind door number 1, door number 6, door number, you know what I mean? Am I going to make the right choices all the time? So, if you keep thinking about all of the stuff that could go wrong, like I said, analysis is paralysis. Because analyze stuff. Yes, you're supposed to. Hey now, say now. But sometimes you can analyze something so much that it paralyzes you, like fear. Do your pros and cons. But at some point, you just got to do it and know that ain't nobody gonna die. It all boiled down to that. Is this gonna kill me? No. It's gonna stress you. It's gonna stretch you. It's going to test you. but it won't necessarily kill you. So, you know, in my mind, because I spend a lot of time in there, just trying to figure out what's going on, you know, in there. Keirsten, what we thinking like, what we feeling like. I have to remind myself to think on good things, you know. I have to remind myself to expect great outcomes, you know. Good things are going to happen, Keirsten. You've been putting in the work for all of these years. Why would it not? Why would it not? I took some more chances. I ain't ready to tell y'all about it yet. But no, I'm out here. Chance the Rapper. I'm out here taking chances, okay? So, but we got to get over this stuff within ourselves. So, that emotional mastery, that cognitive mastery, all of that is uber important. Not just in life, but in business. Because people playing with your mind or trying to discourage you is a strategy sometimes. But you got to be so clear within yourself that you can see it for what it is and not react to it. Just, you know, let it be what it is. When the basketball player is at the, you know, he at the foul line and he going up, what the people behind him doing? They waving all of that stuff, trying to distract them, right? Anything that they could do to try to keep him from focusing on that, on making the basket. So, in many ways, that happens to us. All of this stuff, all these distractions, which is why especially in today's time, we don't know real news from fake news. We don't know real damn photos from AI. In this day and time, it's hard to separate the real from the fake, which is why you better master. You gotta master. You gotta master because there's so much going on. And you gotta be centered within yourself or you will be easily distracted. Yes, the focus. Your brain got to be focused. If you waiting for fanfare, you push when nobody's clapping because you owe it to you. No choice is still a choice. So if you sit around and do nothing, you are choosing to do nothing. Now, isn't it ironic? Choose wisely, but if you don't choose, you have chose. That's crazy. Hey, I don't know what to do about it. I'm gonna have to decline you, baby, because I don't know how to. I don't know. I'm new to TikTok. I just coming to kick it for a minute, and I'm about to let it go because I feel myself preaching. But I'm telling you, be clear. The higher you go, new levels, new devils. That's why foundationally, you got to be good. Ain't no future in your fronting. Let's get to the bikini bottom of it, which is your mind, how you think, not what people think about you. You know, it's like when you are in a boat, right? You in the boat. Now, water is all outside the boat. And you can float on the water. But when does the problem occur? The problem occurs when water goes from outside the boat to inside the boat. Now you sinking. Uh-oh, stay with me. Let her cook. Let her cook, like Glorilla said. Let her cook. All of this stuff can be going on outside of you. But as long as there's no holes in your boat, right? No weaknesses in your, and I'm not saying no weaknesses, but no holes in your armor. The problem is not the water outside the boat. It's the problem is when the water gets in the boat. Water in your boat will sink you. But you're supposed to float on the water. But when the water get in, Titanic, big beautiful boat, right? It was no problem until they hit the iceberg. Iceberg damaged the boat. Water from outside the boat was able to get inside that boat and take the biggest boat down. Let that sizzle in your soul for a second. So let's just say in your mind is the boat and it's water, negative, intrusive thoughts, stuff that people send, thoughts that people are sending to you, thoughts that you may generate in your mind, but it don't sink you until it's able to get inside. Which is why you got to maintenance your boat. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Transform, transformation, change. Wait a minute. You mean I can change if I just renew my mind? That's what he said. Whatsoever a man thinketh, so is he. Okay. All right. Just so we clear. Okay. Your mind is more powerful than anybody outside of you, which is why I want to talk to you about your mind, about your fears, about your self-mastery. Let's get to the root of why we're scared to take chances. Let's get to the root of it. Some of y'all got books in y'all. My homegirl wrote a book. I'm so inspired by her. She wrote a book. But some of us are afraid to be honest. We get comfortable in the lies that we tell ourselves. Now that could be a good or a bad thing. I can't do it because whatever. And you've convinced yourself that you can't do it because of whatever. Whether you think you can, whether you think you can or you can't, you right about both of them. How about that? Whether you think you can or you can't, you right. So that means think I can. Because if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you won't. Okay? All right. Okay? So, I'm not going to keep y'all long because I know y'all all in love and all the things. I was with my boyfriends this weekend. I got 7 of them. I love them. They love me. They for everybody. I know it, you know. 7 boyfriends, 7. Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln, Hamilton, Grant, Franklin. They for everybody, and I want everybody to have them. I ain't got to worry about Grant acting like Lincoln. Lincoln ain't acting like Grant. Everybody, you know, everything is above board. You feel me? But I love y'all so much. Thank you for taking this time. But seriously, just challenge yourself. If you have a negative thought, try to replace it with a good one. Because your mind can drag you to hell. Yes, it can if you let it. But transform, renew your mind, change your mind. You'll change your life. So tomorrow is Monday. We get to try again, friends. Try again. But this time, don't go in with a defeated mind. Go in and say, I'm going to do it. Whatever it is. Tomorrow, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go to the gym. Tomorrow. That's what I'm saying right now. But motivation, that's motivation saying, hey, I'm going to get up, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. But if you don't discipline your mind or discipline your body, you just talking, baby. So let's get to the root of it. Everybody tell you don't be scared. Everybody tell you don't, think positive. Can I tell y'all something? When I took my mother to emergency, right? My mother had been without oxygen on her brain for 10 minutes. I prayed. It wasn't about thinking positive. I don't even want nobody to talk to me about nothing else. Hey, in fact, Doc, if you got something you need to tell me, we gonna step out in this hallway. Because I don't even want her to hear you say whatever it is you gotta tell me. I'm telling you, if it was for positive thinking, she would be here. But at some point, I had to think about, what if he heals her, but just not in the way that you want, Keirsten? I ain't want my brain to entertain a thought. But sometimes when you sit in that tub by yourself, Lord, please, Lord, please, Lord, please. And he like, I'm going to answer. But what if it's not in the way that you want? We going to still be okay? I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that shit. Right? So I understand that there's a yin and yang to it. There's a balance to it. And sometimes it helps to be delusional. Let me cook. What I mean by that is the scriptures say, speak things that are not as though they were. Nah. That's classic book delusion. That's textbook delusion. And he's telling you, speak things that are not as though they were. You can be sick, say that you healed. Let the weak say, I am strong, is what he said. Okay. Speak things that are not as though they were. I'm doing it. And I'm going to be great. And you ain't even started. But let's train our minds to think that we can do it. Let's not work against ourselves. You got to believe in you. Because he's going to send, they're going to come like a thief in the night to try to steal whatever confidence you have from you. Which is why you got to be sure. You can't be shaken. So you got to get to the gritty of it. And let's get this mind together. Sometimes my mind won't let me go to sleep at night. It just be going. I have to calm this mind down. Write it out. I don't know. But I can lay awake. I can say, okay, I'm going to go to sleep at this time. And my mind will just run. It happens to me too. So, I just want to encourage you. Free your mind. And the rest will follow. Free your mind. That's the only thing holding you hostage. Is your mind. What if was a fifth? I know. I did it. I do it. I do it. So, I just want to get down to some emotional stuff. You know, y'all got enough people out here. You know, Eric do good. You know what I mean? Goings. Tony Robbins. All them people. Get hard. Go hard. Go. You know. But I want to get to the realness of it. What holds us down? What keeps us bound? What keeps you bound? You got to be free. He who the Son has set free is free indeed. Don't live bound. Don't live bound. Don't live bound. Don't be bound by your thoughts. So, I'm going to let y'all go. Thank y'all so much. I love you. And we're going to try to have these conversations more often. I'm trying to do every week because I want to be able to show consistently. I can't tell you to be consistent and I'm being inconsistent. I missed last week because of the game. I don't even know who played. I don't understand Spanish. So I was checked out, but I knew everybody else was logged in. But I just want to show a little bit of, share a little bit of my vulnerability with you. And he gave us power within us. So let's make sure that we're giving the right things power. Positive thoughts. Think on these things. Think on that which is good, which is true. If it ain't true, you ain't even supposed to think about it. Now, I didn't write that. That's what the book says. You ain't even supposed to think about it. Which means it can be a tactic to use you against you. We talking about that stuff. What's going on in me that's using me against me? Find it and kill it. Not literally. What are your self-limiting beliefs about yourself? How do you limit yourself? You know, that's what I'm trying to get to. Because people can tell you all day, don't be scared. Okay. But they don't tell you. I mean, you can tell me to not be scared and ain't going to stop me from being scared. You can tell me to think positive thoughts, but sometimes negative thoughts are intrusive. So you got to chase them out. You got to make the conscious effort to change the thought. But I ain't no expert. I just told you I just failed the last test. I just failed the last one. So this year, I'm not going to be apprehensive about what's to come. Because there's an unknowing in, there's a fear in not knowing, right? And I have to release my need to know. And just trust. So they all kind of intertwine, really. Emotional mastery, cognitive mastery, all of that work together. But I got to get to know the self. In order to not get water in my boat, I got to make sure that my boat is strong. In order to not let outside influences influence me, I got to build my boat. It can only sink. It can only sink if the water get in. But if you don't let no water in, you can float on top of the water. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? I know the metaphors is a lot. I'm a metaphor girl. I'm a hip-hop girly. I like double entendres. I like people to say stuff to me in more than one way so we can sizzle in my soul. So that thing can ride with me. But you think about that. All that outside stuff. They put a blinder on a horse. When you watching the horse, when you watching the races of the horse, they put blinders on them. So they can't see what's happening in the next lane. Because I need you to focus. The basketball player who is trying to concentrate. They boom, boom, clap, boom, boom, clap, boom, boom, clap. They got all kind of silly string. They got all kind of stuff to knock him off his square. But he got to be so centered that with all of that going on, he gonna shoot and he gonna score. That's what I want us to do. Hey, baby. Forget the distractions. They gonna do what they do, and some of us gonna get caught up in them. But I'm telling you, be at one with yourself and the God in you. And everything else behind you, outside of you, sirens and all of that mess, chaos that may be going on outside, is peace within you. Because I've been working on it. I'm telling you. Look. Let's master our minds. Stop telling ourselves this stuff. Stuff that people said to us when we was young. I tell y'all something else y'all ain't gonna believe. If he on this live, he might attest to it. But when I was coming up going to school, I was a nerd, right? And I used to get like a lot of awards and stuff. And the grown-up, hey, baby. Hello, beauty. I used to get a lot of awards and stuff. And the other kids was like mean about it sometimes. Where it would be like, dang. Keirsten Johnson is on the honor road, all of that, you know what I mean? And the grown-ups is like happy, but my peers, I learned this as a little girl. So you grow up with that. I remember it was 5th grade. Was it 5th grade? It was 5th grade. The English teacher was like, well, we won't, you guys get to vote on who's going to do the speech for the class, whatever, for graduation or whatever. Our whole class, they took me and the other person out the room. Our whole class having a discussion about it. The teacher in the room having a whole discussion about it. They chose a third person, an outlier, which was fine because at this point I'm like, I don't even want to do it. Can I just get my grades in peace? Like, why we gotta do all the shit? You know what I'm saying? Just let me rock out because I'm trying to make friends. You know what I mean? That's what you're thinking as a fifth grader. And they had this discussion. The teacher made me and the other students stay after school. Y'all come back up here and see us. Come and see me after school today. I'm like, oh, hey, baby. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. What happened? She said to me, Keirsten, and the other person, I ain't gonna say that person's name. You have to push past things that could hurt you. She didn't tell us exactly what the class said, but essentially the gist of it was, let somebody else do it, because Keirsten and this other person gets all the awards. We sick of seeing that shit. Get somebody else. Now to a kid, that's like, dang, I just want my friends to be my friends. But I could have, even though Tam wasn't buying it, allowed that to stop me from trying so hard. All these thoughts in my mind. So I'm just telling you that some things are born from us in childhood. Find out what that is and kill it. You don't think that because you're grown at your big old age that it don't affect you. But I would challenge you to go back and think about the first time something happened to you. Because you really just grow up. You just get older every day. But whatever it is affected you as a child, some part of you still carries it until you can confront that thing and kill it. Maybe your teacher told you you weren't going to be nothing. You was going to be dumb. You terrible in math or whatever the case may be. Because that's another thing as adults too. We got to watch what we say to these kids. It's kids out here being abused, all kind of stuff, because we be trying to keep up. We don't even give them the space to be honest. The space to tell us something that we might not want to hear. Maybe somebody told you that. You ain't gonna be whatever. That's outside noise. But when it gets inside of you, it takes effect. Now, I ain't got to kill you. But just know it. Know how these shackles came about on your mind. A lot of us live in statistics. You ain't supposed to be able to do this, and this. And if you fall for it, they got you. Right? The world gonna tell you everything. They give us fake news. They give us fake everything. But you need to be able to reason. You need to be able to center. Or people gonna lead you to believe whatever they want you to believe. About you, about other people. Somebody can tell you something about somebody else. And in your mind, why would that person lie? They might lie because they don't want you to like that person or whatever the fuck. I don't know. That's why we got to think for ourselves. Free our minds. All right. 9 o'clock and it's time to rock, and we rock nonstop all around the clock. Thank you so much for all the gifts that you have given. Those of you who done checked in and checked out. I'm about to get out of here because tomorrow is Monday again. See, I done already put Monday on it. We need a day between Sunday and Monday, because if you worked on Friday, you need Saturday just to recover. And then Sunday, when you finally feel like doing something, you don't want to do it on Sunday because you got to go to work tomorrow. So I'm trying to change my mind. All right, even something as simple as that. Don't dread Mondays. I know. Because I feel like it's Monday again. But it's all in how you think about it, right? All right. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for listening to me as a babbling brook. We building something here. Everybody want to know how you do it, how you do it, Keirsten. If I had to do it all over, I would work on this internal work first. Because you don't realize where your wounds show up later. So get you together. All right? Peace. I love y'all. Have yourselves a good day. Tomorrow is Monday. It's a new opportunity to start all over again. Let's renew our minds. Let's change our thoughts. All right? We'll meet back again next week sometime. Kick it for a few minutes, okay? I love y'all. Thank y'all so much.